Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of February 4th through 10th. Today is Saturday, February 10th. So this week was pretty exciting. We got our announcements out for March Mystery Madness, which is our month-long reading event where we promote and encourage the reading of mysteries throughout the month of March. It is a readathon that I have been a part of for a very long time. I participated in the very first round, and I've been hosting ever since the second round. So I've been involved with it throughout its entire life. And yeah, it is just a really fun event. We get to see a lot of different types of mysteries being read. And it's, introducing a lot of mysteries to the community as well is really fun. And so, yeah, things are definitely going to be busy from here on out as we prep for March Mystery Madness and run through the event. So it's going to be a little bit stressful, but it'll be a lot of fun. I always have a really, really great time with March Mystery Madness. If you haven't caught my announcement, I will link it in the description and the cards here. But yeah, it is an event that is really long running. I think as far as BookTube events go, we might be the longest running event, or one of, but it's a lot of fun. And so, yeah, if you're interested in reading a mystery in March, let me know. I'd be happy to have you join us. There's no rules. We're really laid back. You don't even need to use our prompts or our theme. You can just read a mystery, and we count that as participating. So, yeah, that was exciting. That all the announcements went up yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch everybody's yet because I watch on the television, and I want to make sure that I'm commenting and stuff. And so I'll watch everybody's on Monday when I'm on the work computer. Other than that, work stress was the same. We got our meetings this week. One of them was canceled at like 1 minute to the meeting. It was canceled, and it was like, really? So, yeah, just the same old work stress. But other than that, it has been good. It was raining. I really enjoy the rain. I got some of my best sleep this week. Yeah, it's just been, I would say for the most part, it's been a good week. It's been a good week. But, yeah, every week is different. And so, yeah, in light of all of that, though, I did not finish any books this week. Did not finish a one. So I am in the middle of 2 books. We'll start off with what I'm currently reading. Then we'll get into a Yarnie update. I'm sure you saw from the thumbnail, I do have a finished object. So I'm excited to talk to you about that. And I think that's pretty much all I have to share with you this week. So let's get started. So I am currently reading The Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. This is the 3rd book in the Heroes of Olympus series. I am listening to this currently on audiobook. This is kind of my lunch audiobook. Every lunch I listen to an audiobook and play a video game to de-stress. And so this is my lunchtime audiobook. I will say that I was having a very hard time staying with the story. I don't know if it's my stress level or just the fact that this series is not as enjoyable for me as the Percy Jackson series, but I was having a really hard time concentrating on what was going on in the story. I think right now where I am, things are a little bit better, but I definitely had to pick it up and read a little bit physically to retrace what I had listened to on one of the days, because by the end of the lunchtime, I was just like, what just happened? I don't remember anything. And so you can tell that I just was not concentrating on what was being said. I picked up things here and there, but for the most part, most of it was just like something happened, but I don't know what happened. So I did pick up an actual physical copy to read the section that I had listened to that day. But yeah, I am currently on chapter 18. I just started chapter 18. This is page 226. So I think about a third of the way through the book at this point. It's okay. I don't know. I think a lot of my unenjoyment with this is the fact that you've got this camp of Roman demigods, right? And they have been brought up with different stories of their parents, because the Roman side of the Greek gods are slightly different. And so there's a little bit of hostility, there's some misunderstanding, and there's some untrusting between the groups. And I think all of that just adds to drama. You know, teenage drama, faction, I guess, drama between the Greeks and the Romans. And they're all trying to just work together to get to the end goal. And so, yeah, I think now we're past most of that. I do feel like I'm more settled with the story at this point. And so hopefully it won't be difficult for me to concentrate on the story from here on out. But again, we'll see how my stress level is. But yeah, I still wouldn't say that this is as good as the Percy Jackson series, but I wouldn't say it's uninteresting. I think now I'm definitely more curious about what's going on, so that's a good thing. But yeah, we'll see how I do with this one as I continue to listen throughout my lunch breaks with this one throughout the week. And then the other book that I am in the middle of is From Below by Darcy Coates. This is an underwater it's supposed to be a horror story. I don't think of it as a horror. In fact, it does say horror fiction back here. This is an advanced reader's copy. My mom had brought it home from the Barnes & Noble. And so we've had this one for a while. I just never read it before the story was released. And I think this one was released in 2022, because that's what it says over here. I'm doing a chapter by chapter on this, which are basically audio-only reading vlogs. I have sectioned off this book into 8 sections. So I read 8 chapters per section, and the last section will have just a little bit less. But yeah, it's interesting. I will say that it's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be for me. At this point, I think this is gonna be a 3-star, but it depends on what Callpile actually says. I do feel like with my Callpile rating, I'm being a little bit more generous on things. Because, my gut reaction to this is it's a 3. Now, I haven't finished it, but if I were to rate it right now, it would be a 3. When I had read Nothing But Blackened Teeth last week, I thought gut reaction says it's a 2. And then it ended up rating a 3. And I don't know, I still don't feel like it's a 3-star read. I don't feel like I can say the book was good. For me, a 3-star means that it was, good. But it is not like that in my head. But that's what Callpile says it is, based on what I put in there. So I think I'm being a little bit too generous on that, which is just another reason why if you ask me, to break down certain things and I have to go in and tell you, by category what I think, I tend to be a little bit more generous. Whereas if you just ask me, okay, what do you think this is? I can say, okay, this is a 3-star read. This is a 2-star read. And I don't rethink that answer. I'm very firm with my feelings on that. I never question my rating, but Callpile is making me question my ratings, and I'm not sure that I like that. But anyway, yeah, I feel like this is not horror at all at this point. I am currently on to chapter 41, page 308. So I just finished my 5th section for the chapter by chapter. And to this point, there is hardly any horror elements in here, I would say. If anything, it's more of trick of the eye, maybe your mind playing with you, it could be, type of thing, and a little bit of historical, I would say mystery. And so, yeah, nothing too horror-y at the moment. I have hopes though, because if what happened at the end of chapter 40 develops, it could lean towards horror. But at this point, I would say I'm about 3/4 into the book. Yeah, maybe 2/3. It's more of a mysterious type feeling than horror. It's more underwater adventure because they are going through this ship. They are like looking at the remains of the ship and trying to figure out what happened there. But a lot of the horror type elements up until this point are it could have been a trick of the eye, a surprise pop out from someplace. You know, little things like that. It's not super horror-y. I think if I was like watching this on the screen, it would definitely be more horrific. Horrific. I would definitely be more on pins and needles. But at this point where I'm reading it, I'm not getting that at all. It's not got me at the edge of my seat. I have problems keeping my concentration on this book because things are just not grabbing me. The story is moving really slowly. And so that's kind of where I am at this point. I'm going to finish out my chapter by chapter over the next week. And then I'm probably going to post in not the week after you're seeing this, but maybe the week after that. I'm not sure yet. It all depends on when I have time to edit all of the clips and everything like that. But yeah, so far this is not as good as I was hoping it would be. But to be fair, I kind of thought that it wasn't going to be, but the whole like this could be like Titanic, a take on Titanic, but with a different ship, intrigued me. But it just doesn't have that like element that's keeping me wanting to read this book. Like I'm able to step away from this book and not come back to it the next day, or not read all of my chapters for the chapter by chapter in one sitting, which is what I usually do. I'll usually sit down and read all of the chapters in one sitting and do the one episode at that time. But with this one, I've broken just these last couple chapters up into like 3 reading parts. And it's just like, I don't know. It's not grabbing me. And I'm kind of feeling a little bit bad that I'm doing a chapter by chapter on this because I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I was going to. But we're here. So I've already put in the work on it. I'd be interested to hear what everybody else who's reading this for the Start and Stop Buddy Reads thinks. Because I have a feeling I have an unpopular opinion. But that being said, I do read a lot of horror. I read a lot of mystery. I read a lot of murder mystery. And so maybe it just takes a little bit more to keep me interested. I don't know. But we'll see. I'll hopefully have this done by the time I talk to you next. So that is everything that I have read this week. No finishes, but that's okay. But now it's time for a Yarnie update. So I am not going to start with my finished object. We'll talk about that one last. But I did get a little bit of work done on my Residence of Haunted Mansion Rainbow Ring. Rainbow Ring is a sweater by Stephen West. I should probably say that the sweater that I am wearing is not one that I made for myself. This is a Hot Topic purchase. I got it on clearance. It is very comfy. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's kind of out of my like color preferences because it's like pastel-y, but it goes really well with my pastel shark shirt. So yes, I am enjoying this one. It is nice and warm. Got it on clearance. And so yes, but I did not knit that one myself. But I did knit this. So Rainbow Ring by Stephen West. I did not get very much done on this, to be honest. I saw the potential for finishing the Pure Fuzz, and so I decided to go ahead and put all of my focus into finishing that instead. So this one kind of went on the back burner. So I was here last time, and now I'm here. I think I am close to where I need to be for the sleeve length. So if I like hold it up to my arm, I think that's good. I think that's good. I did measure it, but the thing is that this is so stretchy that even if I just lay it flat, I feel like I'm not getting a good measurement, because when I put this on, once I have the ribbing around the wrist, I feel like the ribbing is going to stretch out the sleeve a little bit. And if that's the case, if I make it much longer than this, it's going to be a little bit baggy, which is fine. But I'm now starting to second guess myself. So yeah, I feel like I should just stick with my gut though and do the 27 colors like I thought, and then do the ribbing for the wrist. I am on color 27. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is the appropriate length. But at the same time, if you look to see like where it is, if I just lay it flat, it's like at my elbow. But that's not where it's gonna be once, you know, I put in the ribbing and put it on. It's gonna be like down here. So I'm having a little bit of an issue with this one. I don't know what to do. So that's also kind of why I put the brakes on it, because I'm like, I don't know, parts of me think that the sleeve is long enough where it is, and parts of me think, no, you need to add some more. But, you know, there's also the thing where I'm like, okay, if it ends up 3/4 sleeves, are you going to be okay with that? And I think I would be, but I think I would much prefer for this to have full-length sleeves. I don't know. I'm having a think on it. If you have any suggestions, let me know down in the comments below, because I'm having a really hard time deciding what I want to do with this. I mean, it stretches like an accordion. Like, seriously. And I don't know what's going to happen if I block it, but I've never been one to want to block things before I'm done with it. So, yeah. Let me know if you got any suggestions. But for right now, this one is on hiatus at the moment. Okay, let's talk about my finished object. So I finished the Pure Fuzz by Skeindeer. I did this one for my daughter. I did the size 1, but I did use a different technique in my knitting to make it smaller. So size 1 technically has 40 inches. I think I'm much less than that. I haven't actually measured it. But this is like perfect for my daughter. I had to have her try it on last night when I finished it, and it was perfect. Perfect length, perfect like width, just enough of an oversized feel that it just looked really, really good. So Pure Fuzz, I know it's really black. You can't see it. But really, really easy knit. My very first Skeindeer pattern. Did I say it was a Pure Fuzz by Skeindeer? I was here the last time I talked to you. So I just did that much, and I did the ribbing. So it's really nice. This garment weighs practically nothing. The yarn is really, really light. So the yarn I used for this was Knit Picks Wonder Fluff. I just saw that they got some of these in like ombre, 100 gram ombre balls, and it looks really interesting. I may need to pick some of that up. But this is a 50 gram ball, 142 yards in Willie's Heather. This is 70% baby alpaca, 23% nylon, and 70% merino wool. So the ombre balls are 100 gram balls. But yes, I'm very happy with this yarn. And like I said, it weighs nothing. I ended up not using all of the yarn. So when I was knitting it, I thought, you know, this kind of looks long enough as it is. I had a little bit of a measure, and I had my daughter hold it up to herself, and I thought, okay, it's almost time to put in the ribbing. So I measured how much more I should go, which at that point, I think it was 1 more inch of body and then ribbing. And that's what I did. So this was the ball that's left from the body. And this is the ball I had left after I finished the sleeves. And so I'm not quite sure how much this is, but that's how much I have left. I may incorporate this one into my Pure Fuzz because I did buy yarn for my own, but it's in like a maroon kind of burgundy-ish heather type color. So if I run out of yarn, I may use this for like the ribbing on the neck, arms, and bottom of the garment if I feel like I need more yardage. But yeah, really enjoyed this yarn. It was pleasant to work with. And like I said, the garment practically weighs nothing. It's super light, but my daughter said it was nice and warm. The alpaca content is really nice as well. And it's just got the nicest, like, halo. Really, really enjoyed working with this project. Really enjoyed working with the yarn. And I'm definitely seeing one in the future for myself. And maybe a couple of others, depending on. I am looking at another, like, plain raglan type sweater. You might have heard of it because a lot of people are knitting it right now. It's called the Doppio. It's by a Korean designer. I'll put the name down here. But yeah, I've been looking at the Doppio. And that one uses 2 strands of fingering plus a mohair to get a bulky weight. But this is a bulky weight sweater. And so I may just use this pattern instead. I mean, this was enjoyable to knit, but definitely a different like take on a top down because you work it flat until you join for the round. But yeah, very interesting. My first touch with Skeindeer's patterns, and her pattern writing style is very different from what I'm used to. So it did take a little bit of thinking on my part. She doesn't put a suggested needle size, but she does let you know what size she got. And I thought that was interesting. And in fact, she just talked about this on her most recent podcast about how, you know, needle sizes are so different for what you'll need because each knitter is different. So that's why she doesn't put a suggested needle size on her pattern. She just gives you what she used and then the gauge, because you as a knitter probably know what you need to get that gauge. And so it doesn't matter what she writes down. But me, as someone who doesn't knit bulky yarns often, I definitely had no idea what size needle to use. And so I definitely need that like suggested needle to know where to start. And for me, the needle size that she used was the same needle size that I ended up using. Now, like I said, this pattern is supposed to be 40 inches for size 1, which is the size that I did. But that would have given my daughter like 15 inches of positive ease. And so when I did my gauge swatch, using a continental knitting style, I was already running smaller than what the gauge should be, which is fine because, like I said, 15 inches of positive ease. I was like a stitch, I think it was a stitch and a half smaller. And so to tighten it up just a little bit more, I decided to go ahead and knit this English style. And when I knit English, that does help me tighten up things. And so, yeah, that's just kind of a trick that I use instead of, you know, trying to fiddle around with different needle sizes. If I'm just a little bit off, I will switch to English style and just start knitting the project. I won't recheck my gauge unless my gauge is really off with continental. Then I will check my gauge while knitting it in English just before I start. But other than that, I have had no problems switching styles for projects to get a gauge that I need for a project. It's been really helpful that I can knit both ways, because having that ability to use a different knitting style definitely has helped me in the past with gauge issues. So yeah, really enjoy this pattern. Highly recommend. Like I said before, I got this pattern free as a perk for signing up for her newsletter. So if you're interested in this one, definitely sign up for her newsletter, because it was worth it. I really enjoyed this. I will definitely be doing this one again for myself, and I may be doing some others in the future as well, but really enjoyed this one. And this is my first finished item for the year. So yeah, really great. It's my first finished item in a really long time, and I'm very, very happy with this. So my daughter will get this one now. I'm not going to bother blocking it. It doesn't seem to need any blocking. If she's just going to use it anyway. I mean, I could probably block the neckline, but it looked fine when she had it on. And so, yeah, she's just going to get it to wear. And so, yeah, I'll try to get some pictures of her wearing it out and about. I asked her to wear it to the next manga club meeting so I could get some pictures outside with her in it. But yeah, very happy with this one. So as far as what will be replacing that project now that I'm done with it, I think I mentioned in last week's diary entry that we are going to the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba theatrical event that's happening for the upcoming season. So I think they're going to show the last episode of the Swordsmith Village arc and then the first episode of the Hashira training arc as like a movie at a theater. And so you may remember me talking about the fact that I had on the needles a pair of Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba socks. So I went ahead and pulled those out. So they're currently in my shark bag, which go great with my shark shirt right today. This is a sock set that I purchased from Hawari Bazaar. And Hawari Bazaar does monthly sock sets. She does one that's Sailor Moon inspired. She does one that's K-pop inspired. She does one that's BTS inspired. And she does one that's anime inspired. She took a bit of a break last year at the end of the year releasing the yarn clubs because she had a family emergency. And so she finally was able to get the yarn clubs back. This month's yarn club, if you're interested, the anime yarn club is My Happy Marriage. So I had to go pick that up. Yarn that's dyed inspired by My Happy Marriage. I've read those light novels. You've seen me talk about them here. I've watched the anime, really enjoyed it. Had to have My Happy Marriage yarn. So I did purchase that set, and so that should be coming to me towards the end of the month. But I have pretty much just been collecting sock sets from Hawari Bazaar. I have every intention to knit them all, but I haven't. This is the first one that I picked up. And it was because we had started reading the Demon Slayer manga with the manga club, the Monochrome Manga Club, and we were just finishing, and I thought, you know, what better way to remember how great of an experience we had than to knit up the pair of socks. So the full skein looks like this. It's a nice like variegated colored yarn. And then I always pick up the sock set. So you can either just get the single skein or you can get a sock set with a mini. So I always get the sock set so that I can have a pair and my daughter can have a pair, because I can make us both a pair out of a single skein and a mini. And so, yeah, single skein and mini Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba is what the set is called. And I think the last time I talked to you about this sock, I had finished the one. So it's just a regular 64 stitch 2x2 rib. No, 1x1 rib, which is very different for me. And that's because I did a 3x1 broken rib for the sock. I did a heel flap square heel turn and a gusset. And then I did my lightning toe. So this is the first sock. And I did it this way because I think all of my yarn clubs for the anime yarn club are going to be this 3x1 broken rib design. I just thought that it would be nice to like tie all of the yarn club socks together, you know, so that they all kind of look the same. And oh my goodness, I just found a break in the yarn right there at the top. So I am going to have to fix that. That is sad. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, there is a break in the yarn right there. It's a good thing I didn't stretch it out too much. But anyway, I did start the second sock before when I talked to you about this last. So I have this much. I'm doing it on a 9-inch circular needle. And yeah, I'm working down the leg. So I haven't yet picked this up since I talked about this project last. But I'm really excited to hopefully get this done by time we have the manga club next week. So next week by time you're seeing this. So hopefully I'll be able to wear them to the theatrical event. I'm really, really looking forward to getting back to this because I think I said at last week's episode that I have been really like wanting to work on a pair of socks. And so, yes, very excited to get back to this. But before that, I definitely need to fix that edging. Ooh, I don't even know how to do that. Definitely gonna have to look up a couple of tutorials, that's for sure. But yeah, it shouldn't be too hard, I hope. Hopefully I won't have to take out the entire sock to just do the ribbing. But yeah, we'll see. In any case, that is my plan for right now. I also think that I'm going to have to look through some of my other whips for another more easier project to work on because we have been watching a Korean drama, Marry My Husband, which is on Amazon Prime. It's really, really interesting. It's been a long time since I've gotten into a Korean drama. But again, it's like one of those things where it's subtitled and I know a little bit of the common like phrases that they use, but I'm not fluent at all in Korean. So there are times where I can pick up like context and things based on the words that I know, but I can't pick up everything. So I do need to be able to read the screen. And so I need to go through my projects and find one that's more like round and round and round, like my Mostly Ghostly, where I'm, you know, working on the sleeve on that, or my Love Note, where I'm going round and round in the body. So one of those will get worked on as well, I think, sometime soon. So that's my plans for the moment, and I think that's pretty much all I have to talk to you about this week. So let me know down in the comments below what you've been up to this week. What have you finished reading? Are you planning on participating in March Mystery Madness? If you are, let me know. And I think that's all I have for you today. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a magnifying glass emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.